Hey everyone, and welcome back to Transport Fever. We will be working on some new train lines today and expanding our income base. Right now, all we were really doing is shipping food to Mare and also construction materials to Mare. Really, that's all we're doing besides some people transportation between this city and, what is this, East Grinstead. And what I want to do is basically supply different types of materials for our industry so they grow and become a little bit more happy with us. And in doing so, hopefully Mare will grow as a whole, allowing us to ship more people, which will give us more money and upgrade our train lines, and it's snowball effect, basically our way to victory here. So, what I plan to do, number one is we are completely out of debt, so we have a zero loan balance right now, and that's great because that's going to give us basically a good chunk of money if we need to start doing what we're going to try and accomplish this episode. And what I want to try and do is probably pause the game first so the years don't roll by. There's 2 oil fields here by the city of Amble. And now, I don't want to do a train station at each of these, and Amble seems to be at a good location, perfectly kind of in the middle here, to potentially use this as like a cargo hub. And how you do that is, number one, you need to establish kind of your train station here. So let's do, I'll build 2 stations like I usually do here. So we'll do 2 platforms for, people. What's a good spot for this? In fact, let's go ahead and show the breakout here. Because you can always ship people to the train station that you want to in this case. So, I think maybe down here would be okay. Because we're not supplying this town with any goods. We're really just focusing on Mare in the long run and getting them in a good spot. This is going to be a little difficult to plan out. I might need to do the terminal station, these kind, simply to save room. So let us grab the freight version as well. And also a freight truck station here that we can hopefully connect without too much trouble. I may have to do something like this and just connect it via the roads. There we go, and get these nice and tight so we have kind of a little compound here. And we can build some roads off of this. Now, sometimes roads in this game are best built in little segments so that you have the most fine control over them. You can see doing corners and things are a little complicated. And then I guess we can... I'm fine with destroying 2 homes for the greater good. And also, that also might leave some room to put the road depot, potentially. Oh, come on. Let's try spinning it around. Maybe that'll connect better. Nope, never does. Okay, we'll just move that to the side. I think over here is fine. Okay. So we got that. Let's go ahead and set up our road depots up here by the oil mills. In fact, we'll put on normal playing speed. Actually, we need stations. We don't need depots up here. And leaving it on normal kind of play speed will hopefully make it a little bit viable in terms of just money slowly trickling in for us. So we got a depot there. We gotta get another depot over on this side. Let's see if we can't use shift here and get a finer rotation. 30,000, that's not too expensive. The only problem that I have with this game in general is just the way the terrain gets chopped up with buildings and things like that. I kind of wish some of the buildings had some leniency to smooth out some of the terrain. I think overall that would look better. So let's set up a new line. So we will do that. Okay. And then we'll do this line as well. So we'll have two sources of oil coming down to Amble. And then Amble will need to set up a train route. Now, the reason I'm using Amble as kind of this connection point is rather simple, because eventually we want to build a main kind of track going this direction, and I figured, you know, if we're expanding out this way, Amble can be a good little hop over. So what I want to do is establish kind of the main train line that's just going to go past Amble. Okay. So we're gonna, might have to do some zigzagging here, as this is kind of a gentle sloped kind of hillside that we're going down. And I do want to try and keep the railroads looking at least somewhat nice. And it helps to have your height lines, because it really helps, you know, so you can follow ridge lines in the same height, so you save money, you don't have to dig down, you don't have to raise the terrain as much. So that is there. Now this is where it gets a little troubling. You can see just how steep this gets. So we're gonna have to do probably a couple crossovers. So we're gonna first go a little left, do a sweep right, I think up to about there. Okay. You'll then cross the road, do a new curve. You can see this kind of chops away at the terrain a little bit. Now this does increase travel time, but you know, our trains are getting much, much better, and I'm not really worried about travel time as much anymore. I'm just worried about, you know, saving money on the track laying itself. Yeah, that's, it's not the most efficient route, but I think we'll just have to settle for it. Some people will also follow the roads with track, but roads can go at a steeper incline than rail, because trains have a limitation on the slope, because they have such low friction in their wheels that they can't take going up and down as easy. So let's figure out, we're probably just going to need another 3-point connection here, very similar to what we did last episode. So let's do that. Let's raise this up. We're gonna need a little bit more run up, aren't we? Come on, don't do that. You know, maybe if I stayed roughly in the same plane, we can get some more height out of it. And it might look interesting having it slope through in a different angle. Now see, do I try this and hope it actually makes the bridge? Okay, good, it did. Great. Okay, so going down is not an option. Let's try and make this as narrow as possible. We're gonna run into the same issue where the bridge is gonna be a little bit longer on one side than the other. So make this kind of as wide as possible so that we have enough turn radius here to get back inwards. Yes. Great. What am I colliding with? There. Oh, there's a signal here. Hello, trains. You're pretty loud lately. Choo-choo to you too. Too much curve, and that will be that direction's connection point. Now the question is, can we get this to sync up? We can. Okay. In this direction, we need to pop off the rail probably here. And then start a curve like that. So just due to the angle of these two rails, we're not gonna get quite the heart shape like the other one. It's gonna be a little bit messier, a little bit bigger, but hopefully it'll work out for us. So that's one connection point going to both directions. So we will now do the second connection point, which is like so. So this is the opposite. Or can we get a tighter loop than that? I don't know. Because the rail is coming towards us, this one's going to be a little different. Let's see. Yeah, it's gonna have to curve up a little bit higher first and then around. Which we can do. Something like that. And then, let's see, we need this direction. And this one we can actually hug the base rail a little bit easier, I think. There we go. So that's our new kind of interchange that we have going on there. There's some stuff that would probably smooth out, such as this connection point. It's fine to have a little straightaway, but I think in this point, I'd rather just have it just do a smooth connection without kind of having that little extra bit there. And you could do that, you know, at these ones as well, but I think we'll skip that for now. So now it's the pricey kind of extension of the rail line, making it a 2-lane because this is kind of going to be a main one. Construction is not possible. That's interesting. So what we'll have to do is give us a little bit of room here to interact with the road and probably swing back over. This is kind of normal. It's just a little annoying to deal with sometimes. There we go. I would have just maybe made it a single lane track for that segment, but you know, that would just slow down the overall traffic, and that's not something I want to do. Making a big cut into the earth over here. We're still sitting around 1 million, keeping it playing so that you kind of get a trickle of money when you're doing this is a decent idea. You don't want it to run too fast though, because replacing vehicles and things become an issue if you do that. So the interesting thing about this train station down here is the fact that they are basically stops. They're not continual loops like we were doing. And they can be relatively easy or hard to set up depending. So what I want to do is figure out where we're going to loop. We're probably going to have to go along the ocean just so we don't have to fight going uphill. And when I say ocean, I guess I mean the river there. So let's scroll down. We'll extend these lines so we have room to work with. Okay. And now we need to kind of establish the going to and from town here. So let's go. This is going to. This is coming from. So these will kind of loop around pretty wide so that we can make this turn somewhat nicely. And I want to try and center these a little bit. There we go. And connect both of these rails like so. Ooh, interesting. Okay, so we're gonna have to do this a little different, I think, than what we just did. Let's build the two kind of exits first and entrances, because what it's gonna have to do is end up single tracking so that it can decide whether it's leaving or coming into the station. So we're gonna take both of these basically to a point like that. All right. Now we have a little bit of stretch of single track, which is basically gonna act kind of like a switch for us automatically. We have the coming to, and then the leaving lane at this point. And connect. So that's kind of how I do these. You do get a little bit of a slowdown because trains will stop here while things are coming in and out of the station, but I don't think we're going to be doing quite heavy enough traffic to make that a concern. And now at this point we can, I guess, make the interchange just like earlier. So we'll do this and make it as tall as possible. Get it nice and close. You know, it might be better to start at the high ground first. So we will, I think, do this like that. Go over it close as possible and as straight as possible. Again, really wish there was a straighter track piece to use. Okay. And now we really just have to connect these. Wow, that's a long bridge, don't you think? I mean, I know it's going downhill, but goodness sakes, that's not good. That's not what I want at all. That's too inefficient. Let's just smooth this out a little bit here. And also it costs a lot of money to make really long bridges like that. Okay. Let's come at this at a different angle to negate the height difference, I think. Oh boy. I mean, maybe farther down would be okay. I could preemptively build this bridge just so I can get it out of the way. And we are gonna go across this river at some point. Now the downside is these are low bridges, so no boats are gonna be going through these, but we can always increase the height of them a bit later. All right, let's get this overpass done. Let's have a good run up. Preferably like that, and over, not over. Oh man, not good, not good. Or Our money is still sitting relatively the same though, so I'm not too worried just yet. Let's see, let's start curving these a little bit northward. Like that. Get across the road so I don't have to worry about how the road interacts. And I think now, if we start curving it and going up at the same time, we can get the height that we need. Oh, good. I can actually level it out before. Now if I turn it, see the mountain's gonna mess with that a little bit. Let's curve it this way, potentially upwards. No. I don't know. I could do that again. But it's just so expensive to build bridges. And we're getting kind of a collision thing that I'm not liking, so we're gonna have to go straight, I think, like this. Alright. That's just sadly what we have to work with, I think. So we'll make 2 points, just like the other interchange. Wrap this around. Start going downwards so we can connect. That's the first loop. This one's gonna have to follow it a little bit longer so that we can get this curl to work with us a little bit. Oh boy, the collision's not liking that. Let's see what. Okay, yeah, no. Gonna have to delete this section. In fact, this bridge work is costing a lot of money, so we're gonna take out a loan probably to finish up this connection. Okay, let's just stop there. And then start going around. It's quite the interesting shape. I mean, it looks cool in its own way. Maybe not the most clean, but it works. And as long as it works, I'm happy. All right, now to break off from this. And I really like following the base of the little hill this creates. I think it looks very clean, unlike the other side. And something like that. So yeah, there's our connections. It's an interesting shape, just to say the least, on that one. Okay, so we got connections. Now we just need a train station to service this line because, you know, no other the trains shouldn't be coming from here. Though it could. I mean, it's going to Mare nonetheless, so, you know, is it something that we want to do? Not want to do? Yeah, we'll just use that train station kind of depot thing there. And at this point, we can worry about getting the fleet of vehicles that we have. All right, freight. What do we got? We got the Benz, which is a new one that just came out here at the year. What year did this come out? 1912. So that is 40 kilometers an hour. We're gonna have to upgrade all of our road vehicles to this one eventually, and it's relatively cheap, 65K per car. It's double, but let's see, how much does it? Wow, the loading speed's quick. It can hold more. It moves almost twice as fast. I'm sold on it. So let's get 2, 3, 4, 5. Do you think 5? You know, we might have to do 10. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so this one is going to be line 2 there. So off they go. Let's get another 10 of them. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Uh-oh, we're out of money. That's okay, we can take even more loan here. Borrow, 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 borrow. Okay, so... Alright, 5. Right? Okay, yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And then this one's the teal line. Now, the reason oil's not waiting at our depot yet. In fact, this is something I'm going to have to pause the game for. It won't actually start generating it until the full line has been established. So we need to get the train route set. So we need a new line going from this freight going to this freight station. Like that. And that's not going to interfere with the construction line. Our depot is wide enough to accommodate having 2 trains there. So that's good. So we got that. Now at this point, we actually need to buy some vehicles up here in Mare to take it to the refinery and back. So what do you think? 5 trucks to get started? Yeah. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Set line, a new line. So refinery to the station there. And we'll actually go ahead and pick up the fuel, which is good for our factories, and take it back and forth automatically. And we'll add more if we need more, etc., etc. At this point, we can invest in our first oil train. So buy train. Now, we have some new train options. I think currently we're using some A35s. I think. No, that's not one of them. Is it this? No, this is actually the PLM 220. So we have a great new train here. It goes 100 kilometers an hour. It's really expensive. It's $2 million. I don't think we can afford that just yet. So we'll just do the PLM 220. Which is fine. I mean, your trains are only as fast as your slowest train anyways, which I'm still using some of the Class 89 Prussian T3s, I believe. I think that's what this is here. So we'll have to upgrade that eventually. Or is this 53 G3s? I think they're the 53s. Okay, enough rambling on. Let's buy our train. Okay, so wagons. We need tank, which takes crude oil. And 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. I think 6 is fine. Set line all. This one is going to be the line 3. Okay. Now in theory, if we start playing the game, what will happen is these oil rigs are going to realize that, hey, we have a route fully set up to try and take this to refinery, so hopefully it'll start supplying this depot here soon. Now we're going to be losing money initially on this. Oh, look, so it's producing oil. So it recognizes that we're going to do a good one here. Where's our new oil train at? There she is. As you can see, this Prussian one we're really gonna have to do something about. You know, we're getting slight heavy traffic through this corridor. And I mean, I guess it's not really slight. I mean, it's basically a continual string of stuff. We got train 7 reaching lifetime expectancy basically on that. We got our trucks getting our first bit of oil here, which is great. Yes, plenty of trains reaching their lifetime there. And I'm really excited to see this whole thing start working. We'll probably need 3, maybe 4 of these oil trains here to ship as many as they have. I mean, these trucks themselves will do, I think, just fine once the refinery and the route kind of balance itself out. They're pretty expensive though, 728 per month. But here comes our train. Wow, it is just booking it. I don't really like that road connection. I might smooth that out later. And we only have one train right now, so I don't have to worry about putting a whole bunch of stops on it or anything like that. You know, these are making money. I mean, not a whole lot yet because, you know, the oil and the vehicles aren't spaced out quite enough to do a continual flow. But we'll get there. And it's pretty cool to see these bigger trucks go through. I can't wait till we have semis. And then I believe our train should be arriving soon. Yep, it's going through the overpass now, which is good. Actually, I want to check the route and make sure, yep, it's using both lines in the meantime. Okay, so we're in the green again. For now. And here comes our train. Whoa, random hiccup on that one. Why'd you hit the brakes so hard, train? So the first load, 18 of 54. Now let's go ahead and ride this one. We'll ride this one all the way to the station. See how much money it makes. You know, and I do enjoy the scenic route that this is taking, you know, along the riverbed. You know, the crazy overpass here. Little nuts. But we'll see. Maybe I can rework it later just to make it a little bit lower. That's one thing. I wish I could designate the bridge height a little bit better. And now we're just climbing the hill. I mean, it's taking the hill at 60 kilometers an hour, which is great. This thing has a lot of torque to it. It's not losing a lot of speed, but that's also probably due to us not doing this straight line path up the hill, because that would have been at the complete maximum speed incline, and that would have really slowed this process down. So as long as it's able to maintain full speed, I'm pretty happy with it as we go through here and approach our main intersection to the Mayor interchange, I guess you could say, the Mayor line. And this intersection looks pretty cool. You know, the long bridge, I mean, these really long bridges to me make me think of like Texas or something like that. Now, you can see it's really interfering with this line, so we're gonna have to put some flags there because those trains were backed up for I don't know how long, waiting for this one just to climb that whole hill. And so that's why, you know, signals are very, very important to us. Oh man, this thing's just flying through the landscape. Oh, just nice. And I could plant trees along the rail. I could, you know, spruce it up a little bit, make it look really nice. Now we are approaching Mare, so let's cancel that. You can also do an external follow on the train as well as it approaches the town. I'm getting these really long shadows still, and maybe you guys know how to fix that. Alright, 400K. Not bad. And we got oil now here, waiting to go to the refinery, which we can kind of look at. Here comes our first truck to pick it up. Very nice. And now we can just follow this to the refinery. Oh yeah, picking up speed. Not a whole lot of traffic to deal with just yet, but eventually we may have to invest in highway systems, you know, ways to allow our freight vehicles to not interfere so much with the inner city traffic. That's something to consider at a later date. And also upgrading these dirt roads, possibly, once our vehicles become quick enough to where that's a necessity to maintain their speeds. And this little vehicle here, 20K just for that little jaunt. We are now producing fuel, which is then going to be dumped off here at the depot as well, or at least it should. Let's make sure that connection's working. It may not be working yet. Give it enough time, we'll see. Because if this isn't connected, then we're gonna have problems with the refinery and oil connection. Anyways, I think that this episode has been long enough. If you guys enjoy Transport Fever, let me know in the comments down below. Leave a like if you want to see more as well. Go ahead and, let me know what industry you might want to work on next. If you guys have anything to add to our lines, stations, towns, our fleet of vehicles, I'd be happy to hear it. So, until then, thank you guys so much for watching, and I'll see you all in the next episode.